It is crazy to think that I am already up to the third movie that I wanted to prioritize watching this summer. Like, where did June go? Now, back when I made the list, I said at the time that when I watched Anaconda, I also wanted to watch Lake Placid because there is a very strange crossover that happens at some point between Anaconda and Lake Placid. I can't guarantee that I'm going to get that far into either franchise, but I at least wanted to watch the first one to do with the giant alligator that's let loose in a lake in New York, of all places. If somebody said to me, name a state that you associate with alligators, New York is not one of them. In fact, I wouldn't even say it cracks the top 30, probably not even the top 50. But here we are. And then I recently found out, thanks to the comments section on my 6 movies that I wanted to prioritise in summer video, that Betty White is in this movie. Betty White's in a horror movie, like, what? But if you don't know anything about Lake Placid from 1999, let me quickly fill you in. Lake Placid from 1999 is an action creature feature horror. Shortly after the horrifying underwater attack in Maine's Black Lake, the local fish and game officer Jack Wells enlists the help of New York City paleontologist Kelly Scott to investigate. With only a mangled body as their starting point, Jack and Kelly embark on a dangerous mission to find the mysterious creature, as Sheriff Hank, a mythology professor, and an eccentric inhabitant all want to locate the elusive predator first. But something deadly is lurking beneath the silent pond, and it's already taking a liking to juicy human flesh. If you're new here, I go by Hordes, and if you're not new, welcome back. I talk about horror movies here on my channel on Mondays and Fridays, but as always, when it comes to watching movies that I have never seen before, I am now going to go and watch Lake Placid from 1999 off camera, so that way, if you too want to watch this movie about an alligator that at one point gets stuck in a helicopter, that's how big he is, nothing will be spoilt for you, because nobody wants to watch a movie that you've just watched somebody else watch from start to finish, because then you'll know exactly what's going to happen, and I keep it spoiler free here on my channel.
You're not from here, are you?
Okay, so the archaeologist is the person that's from New York, and our friend the Gator is actually hanging out in Maine, which is still not one of my top 30 guesses for where you would find an alligator within the United States. But then, I am from the UK, so I would have no idea, besides Florida and Louisiana, where you would actually find them. There are so many familiar faces in this movie. You've got Bridget Fonda, who is Linda in Army of Darkness, Oliver Platt, who is Dr. Charles in Chicago Med, Brendan Gleeson, who is Frank in 28 Days Later, and then Bill Pullman, who is Christina Ricci's dad in Casper. That one might be a little bit more niche to just me, but that's what I know him from. Now, it's safe to say that you have no worries about the acting in this movie, because then you add in on top of this the American, like, icon, like, Betty White's to finish off the cast. Like, this cast is stacked. Like, everybody is so likable as well. Like, even Hector, who I wasn't completely sold on in the beginning, but he has his reasons for being the way he is and being hyper fixated on things. And then Betty White's character Dolores is just a menace, and she might be my personal favourite.
Dude, it was so badass!
Plot-wise, it's really simple. Man gets legs chomped off while diving in a lake. Archaeologist comes down from New York because they think the tooth is prehistoric. They start hunting for the giant thing in the lake. Oh god, the croc is massive. And then the hunt starts for it. Like, that's as simple as it gets. Like, obviously there are additional things with additional characters, but this movie does a really good job of building up the tension for when you actually get that first reveal of just how enormous this croc is actually gonna be.
It's huge!
Add in a few cheeky deaths, including Betty White feeding an entire cow to the alligator. It then doesn't overstay its welcome and adds in this, like, potential for a sequel, which, yes, I know actually exists. I do love a movie that knows exactly how to wrap everything up and put a nice big bow on top of it, and that's what Lake Placid manages to do. The humour in this reminds me so much of The Mummy, which also came out in 1999. It is very sarcastic, which I can appreciate because that is my second language, and It's funny without trying to be funny. You've got a group of characters who, though they have to work together, doesn't necessarily mean that they want to be around each other, and this comes in when you've got different tolerances for, like, some people will work together because they know it's for the better, and some people would just rather not, but you know that they have no choice.
I hate it here and I hate you!
The giant gator / croc puppet. It is beautiful, and I want to touch it so bad because that texture. So I went away to find out who actually was the genius behind this creation, and it is none other than Stan Winston. And if you do not know this guy, you will know his work from somewhere, because he is the same person that created the xenomorphs in Alien, the dinosaurs in Jurassic Park, and the T-100s in Terminator. And he's also connected to Batman and Robin in some way. I know that V. Neil did the Penguin, but I know he's connected to that in some way as well. But I wanted more Gator. And when I tell you that in the whole of this movie, which is an hour and 29 minutes, the Gator is on screen for a grand total of 3 minutes and 43 seconds. That is it.
Wait, what?
Lake Placid has aged incredibly well, and besides the obvious things like the fashion and the music, you would not know that this movie is 25 years old unless somebody told you that it was 25 years old, which is the biggest compliment that you can give a movie. Now, because of all of this, in the end, I am actually going to give Lake Placid from 1999 a 3.5 out of 5 stars. I would absolutely watch this movie again if somebody said that they wanted to watch it, but my big thing is I wanted more Gator, and it's a creature feature movie, so when your Gator looks that good, give it me more, give me the screen time. So there you have it, my initial thoughts and my review for my first time watching Lake Placid from 1999. If you've also seen this movie, I would love to know what your thoughts and opinions are down in the comments section down below. Are you going to skip this one, or if this is one that you would be interested in? As always, I will leave a link in my description bar to justwatch.com so you can see where it is streaming in your country. But if you would like to know every single movie that I watch, not just the ones I talk about here on YouTube, you can also find me over on Instagram and Letterboxd at Hordes of Horror, or maybe even stick around and join the Horde here on YouTube. But I will be back on Friday with a brand new list video, and it is a sequel to a list that I have made previously about 3 months ago. So until next time, bye.